41 street children were yesterday rescued after allegedly being dumped in Chemusus forest in the neighbouring Baringo County. The children were reportedly taken off the streets of Nakuru town by the county government. Mary Ann Nyambura is there. Mary Ann, tell us about the situation of these children that have been rescued now.
Good morning, Sam, and indeed it's true that 41 street children were actually dumped in Baringo. Now we understand that the incident happened on Wednesday night. According to the street kids, we spoke to them last evening, and they were telling us that what happened is that the operation began on Wednesday morning and came to an end at around 8 p.m. on Wednesday. So on Wednesday night at around 8 p.m., as I mentioned, they were taken, taken by law enforcement officers, two vehicles belonging to law enforcement officers took them all the way to Baringo and dropped them off at Chemusus forest at intervals of 1 kilometer. So we had an interview even with the human rights network officials who condemned the act. Some are questioning the motive of those responsible for that move. But first, let's listen in to what they had to say.
Shikiwa pale tao Nakuru, nilikuwa na troli yangu, nilikuwa naendea troli yangu sasa hii asubuhi. Nikuje nifungue kazi kwa nafunganga.
Tumeshikwa saa 3 asubuhi usiku. Na tulishikwa na wenzangu na tulikuwa tumefanya makosa yote. Na tumekuja kutupa mpaka sehemu yenye hatujui. Sasa ningependa sana hao watu tushika wachukuliwe hatua juu hakuna makosa tumefanya.
Mimi nataka serikali kuchunguza hiyo mtu na hiyo gari ya serikali ile imebeba hii watoto mpaka hapa. Sinataka kuchua.
Bringing these young people here in the middle of the night is not the right thing. It would have been more appropriate to look into other avenues of helping them out other than coming to dump them in a place they do not know.
Well, that is what some of them had to say. And of course, we understand that 36 of them were rescued and taken back to Nakuru. And they recorded statements at the Central Police Station. Now, we understand that they were later on taken to Jomek Rehabilitation Center, where we are at right now. But we also understand that out of the 36, 24 are the only ones who came here. So joining me here is the Nakada chair, former Nakada chair rather, to shed more light, John Mutudo. Thank you for joining us. Maybe you can tell us what was the situation like yesterday when you received the 24 street kids?
It's one of those things which you don't believe can happen in Kenya. We see it in Chad, DRC, Congo, in Sudan and other places. 24 very traumatized kids arrived here between the ages of 12 and 25. And for the first time I saw people you call chokoras, very frightened lot. We had no alternative but just arrange urgent accommodation, first of all for trauma treatment, before even deal with addiction. We are having experts today who are specialists, some of them with even military background, to come and talk to them so that they can settle down. They are frightened lot. We are able to clean them up, feed them. We have given them decent accommodation. And right now all we can say is that it has happened in Kenya. This is ICC material. The Directorate of Criminal Investigation must step in now this morning and take interviews because they're explaining clearly what happened. Initially there were 150, so I hear. Then there's this group of 41. So we need to hear the whole story, what really happened. Has it something that has been happening or what happened? There is also the story that the former governor, Kennedy Mbugua, government did the same thing. And about 360 were repatriated to the forest, of which over 60 died. I wonder what he's doing now in State House. Because such kind of characters should not be anywhere near humanity. It is very, very painful that the only sin that these kids committed is to be poor, to be in the streets, and to push mkokoteni. They don't have anything else. You'll be able to look at them later and see them and listen to them, but it is something beyond pain. As a father, as a responsible reader, I cannot talk politics here, but I can only say we have candidates here for both the ICC and also for our local criminal justice system, and it must be done. And I'm sure the president is reasoning and hearing. So is Mr. Kenywa, so is Matiang. They must take action. We can't have idiots wake up one morning, take up a lorry, come on band of people in bags, then go to put them in snake-infested places, then waiting to be dumped in the river or the lake.
Mheshimiwa, what do you think is the cost of rehabilitating them? We understand that yesterday you provided for them food as well as clothing, but what do you think is the cost at Jomek?
At Jomek, usually it will cost between 271,000 to 400,000 to do a good treatment. But these ones are extra. This is extra. It's extra in the sense that we have never handled war criminals or somebody who have come from a war front. So we are now having to do with specialists now, very top specialists, 3 of them, to deal with trauma. People who saw people dying or were about to die, and then we deal with addiction, the normal addiction. All I can say is that don't send us food, don't send us clothing, because we are also calling for security forces to come and guard them. Because I believe these agents are going to can follow them up for killing them. So you really have to meet a very high cost in terms of security, in terms of their food. But for good Kenyans, let's wait the course of the day. We'll organize ourselves and can have pay bill where you can send whatever you want to send, whether it's a half packet of unga or whatever you can be able to do. But don't bring unga physically or water or anything edible, because I believe there are killers at that county government office, inherited from the former regime and perfected by the current ones.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Well, some, as you mentioned, is that 24 of them are here. But what we understand is that we tried to get a comment from the county government, but up to now, we have not received, our efforts were futile, rather. Back to you, Sam.
Such a serious allegation, Mary Yan, is there certainty that this dumping of sorts was done by county government officials? Who drove or who took these children to that forest?
Well, Sam, I have not heard your question clearly. Maybe if you could
I'm saying that that's a very serious allegation being leveled there, but is there any confirmation that these children were taken to the forest by county government officials? Is it known who took them there?
Unfortunately, Sam, we tried to get a comment from them, the county government of Nakuru, but so far we have not heard anything from them. We made calls, but our calls have actually gone unanswered. So as at now, no comment from the county government.